All right, continuing with the coffee cup, we got to this point where we've got a lot of it already sketched. Remember, we drew those guides in there and then turned them into guides. Or drew those shapes, turned them into guides. You can make anything into a guide, any shape that you draw. Now, I'm going to use these two shapes here to draw these little parts here for the coffee cup handle. Again, I'm going to stick with the pen, and I'm just going to come up here and get really close to the edge. And click, and then a quarter of the way around, click, drag, add the shift, and then come in right over here and click and drag horizontal this time and add the shift. Works pretty well. I'm just going to select that with my main tool just so I get these tools up here, change the profile, and change the stroke. Nice. Okay, I'll go back to the pen. I'll do the inside here next. Click, come back around about a quarter of the way, click, and then add the shift to make a nice smooth curve. And then click horizontal, add the shift. And you can get that to look really pretty. Okay, I'm able to select these because this is all transparent, right? You can see with the grid there, everything's transparent. Okay. And I'll fatten that up. I'm working in preview here and trying to make that look kind of like what we've got over here. Okay, again, keep in mind this is all adjustable and you can move all this stuff around and make it even better after you finish. Now, I'm going to deselect, I'm going to go to my ellipse tool. I just noticed I've been working in the draw behind and that's what I need for this next one. I'm going to change the stroke to none and the fill to this coffee color. And we're just going to add a little coffee here using my ellipse and the option key. I'm going to keep it in behind the black there. You can see it kind of hides that edge. And so now I've got my coffee in there. And you can see that maybe. All right. Now, finally, what I want to do is I want to unlock my guides and return them to objects. Now, turn my grid back on just so you can see this a little better. Hopefully, I'm going to go up to View, Guides, and first unlock them. Okay, so now they're unlocked. That means I can select the guides, which I haven't been able to do up until now. You can see that they're moving around there. Okay, I want to also release the guides, and what that means is this: if I select, I can just select the whole thing. But then if I release the guides, it will make them back into objects. So I can hopefully get that white back that we had before. I'm going to go to Guides and Release Guides, and you can see the white there now filling the object. Now, since we worked in that order, what has happened here is that it's come in on the top. I just need to send it back. And you remember our shortcuts for arrange. If I use the send backward, command left bracket, I'll just press command left bracket, and you'll see the white going in behind those shapes in the same order that I drew them. And if I just keep going with that, now the coffee, and now they are at the very back. Okay, now there's a couple of little things that we need to try to fix here. That line right there should not show. Okay, so here's how I'm going to propose that we try to make that disappear. I'm going to select that white fill that's right there, and I'm going to move it back forward a couple of moves. And let's see if this will work. Command right bracket. Now it's in front of the coffee. What we want it is for it to be in front of this, but not these, and not the coffee. Okay, so I'm going to select the coffee and bring it forward. Okay, now it's forward, and I need to select this path and this path and bring them forward. See if we can get that to happen. Look at that. Now it's in front. Now this is behind. Okay, here's a couple other little things you can do if you want to. You can make this white object and this white object into a single object. In fact, you can also use the ellipse up above here. So now I've got three objects there. The ellipse that we used for this, the front of the cup that we used for this, and the big ellipse in the back. Use my Pathfinder and I can unite those. And now they are a single object. Maybe you can see that. There you go. Now they're just a single object in there. I'm going to leave this one as its own object simply because we need it to block out that. All right. Okay, so what was a guide is now a fill by using the release function with our guides. I'm going to select the whole object. Just going to kind of move it up on my artboard here, and then maybe add some other things here just for fun. I'll continue in the draw behind, and I'll deselect, use an ellipse maybe here with another color in behind, and draw a little ellipse in behind this coffee cup like this. Maybe let's fill it with a different color. Okay, and you can change its size so it fills in nicely behind there like that. Maybe flatten it out just a bit and tap it up. And maybe give myself another color in behind. I'll draw another, like a rectangle that kind of covers up the whole thing here. And give it a different color too. And adjust it with my color guide so they're not so bright. I didn't mean to change my stroke color. I may do that to the fill color. There we go. Really don't need a color for my stroke. Okay. And anything else that you want to do with it to make it look just a little bit more finished maybe. I love gradients. Something like that. That sure looks pretty, doesn't it? Alright, you could add some steam or something coming off of the cup. I love making my background have a little dimension too, so I'm going to just copy, paste behind, Command B to paste behind. Then I'll fill that maybe with a little darker color. And then I'll set it off just a bit so it's sticking out below the other color. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do Command copy and paste in front, and make the new copy filled with white. And I'm going to line it back up with the original ellipse. Okay, so it's blue, fade to blue, and then white below that, and then a dark color below that to give me that kind of a lip on it there. You can kind of see it's not perfect. I'll select that one and that one and use my align panel to what I do there. I'm trying to do a line. Line. Yep. Okay, it's not selected quite right, so I'll do that again. Let's take this and this And whenever you have trouble selecting from your whenever you have trouble selecting on the artboard, try selecting from the layers panel, and let's see if this works any better. Okay, so it's still selecting the wrong thing here. Let's see, I want to select here, and I guess it's the one right below it. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to center it this way and this way, and now it looks a little better around that edge. Okay, so anytime you have trouble selecting from your object, try selecting from your layers. Okay, there's the coffee cup.